So here's the good news. The Ford Mustang Mach E is popular. Now here's the bad news. It's so popular, in fact, that Ford has officially stopped producing 2022 models since the early spring, so more than a few months ago, and now are focused on ramping up 2023 production. But then here is some more good news. If you can get your hands on a 2022 version, you'll save money. But then here's the bad news again. If you can't get your hands on a 2022 version, then unfortunately you'll be paying a premium in 2023 for not a whole lot different. Keep watching. So let me clarify, this is a Ford Mustang Mach E California Route 1. There's a few other available trims like the base model Select, Premium, and GT Performance. Each model differentiates themselves by cost, available options, battery range, and whether or not you prefer rear-wheel drive or all-wheel drive. And instead of me throwing a ton of numbers at you, look down in the description and I've clearly detailed the difference in cost and range between each. Now again, to clarify, this is the Mustang Mach E California Route 1 and comes standard with the extended battery pack and with rear wheel drive. However, this particular model is the E all-wheel drive. All-wheel drive adds about $5,000 to your price tag, but always remember to ask your sales specialist about local EV tax credits in your market. Now, in relation to the E all-wheel drive with extended battery pack, this is producing 346 horsepower with 428 pound-feet of torque and has a range of 314 miles or 505 kilometers for my Canadian viewers. Now to further clarify, Ford stopped taking orders for their 2022 Mach E models, and both the US and Canadian websites have disclaimers stating this fact. But now, to quote my former go-karting teammate, Nathan Brown, who also happens to be the dealer principal for Thor Motors in Aurelia, Canada, he had this to say: "Everything is a carryover for 2023. This essentially means everything I show you now will be available in 2023, but will come with an increased price tag, as I mentioned at the very beginning." The biggest changes from the 2021 model to 2022 Mach E models include improved aerodynamics, interior space, color options, and available charging capacity within the 91 kilowatt battery pack. The changes were so significant between last year and this year, and with 2022 to 2023 being a gap year, a fact shared by my friends once again at Thor Motors, and with supply chain issues, it's not surprising Ford decided to carry over available options into 2023. That said, over-the-air updates and improvements made to battery technology will continue to be made in 2022 as well. And speaking about technology, it's incredibly impressive. Ford's Copilot 360 tech essentially includes their driver-assisted technology, such as forward collision warning with pedestrian braking, blind spot monitoring, lane keep assist, and a rear view camera with automatic braking, just to name a few. But with Ford's Copilot 360 Active 2.0 prep package, you also receive Ford's Blue Cruise technology, which allows you for hands-free driving, provides parking assist, and plenty of more sensors, and a 360-degree camera, which in my opinion is just amazing. Two more additional tech items I've enjoyed this week include the push-button door handles and the walk-away automatic lock doors with mirrors folding in. And lastly, ask your Ford specialist about the Ford Pass app, which allows you to remote start your Mach E, essentially allowing you to preheat or cool your cabin in advance. Every Mach E comes out of the box with a Ford mobile charger that can add up to 30 miles or 48 kilometers of range per night with a 120 volt outlet and up to 80% of battery life overnight with a 240 volt outlet. Look down in the description because I'll share my real world charging experience with the Mach E California Route 1 down there. So that said, this week I tested Ford's charging theory using level 1 and level 2 charging. You also have level 3 charging capabilities, which is your DC fast charging connection, and you'll find that option only available currently at major gas stations or a predetermined charging location. Use your Ford Sync 4 15.5-inch touchscreen to find your closest charging location, a feature that was also updated for 2022. Now, for additional features affecting range are driving habits, driving modes, braking regeneration, and wheel size, just to name a few. Driving habits and modes work together. If you consistently prefer to keep your Mach E in unbridled, which is your performance mode in all Mach Es, then you'll use excessive battery life. And the same can be said about gas-powered cars. If you constantly mash the throttle, you'll use more gas. If you want to be more modest with your Mach E, then I recommend using Whisper or Engage mode. Both will help you to conserve battery life, and both still offer impressive instant torque. And then there's a braking regeneration. Braking regeneration is essentially when you lift your foot off the accelerator, your battery will recharge itself slightly. And again, by using and going through your Ford Sync 4 touchscreen, you'll be able to activate one pedal driving. And when you activate that, you'll be able to come to a complete stop without using your brake pedal. I speak more about this feature during my test drive, so keep watching because it's important. And finally, wheels. Your wheels play a very important role in overall driving range with your Mach E, just like I mentioned and experienced with the BMW i4 M50 I just reviewed. With that particular vehicle, the difference between 19-inch wheels and 20-inch wheels was over 50 miles of range. And the same is true with the Mach E. Between the 18-inch wheels and the 19-inch wheels, you'll also gain or lose more than 50 miles in range. So speak to your Ford specialist before switching your wheel and tire combination. One competitor to the Mach E is the Volvo XC40 Recharge, which I've had the pleasure of reviewing, and in that video I mentioned how the Mach E offers more cargo capacity, and it really does. First, the frunk or front trunk offers a total of 4.7 cubic feet or 133 liters, and to open it, you have to use the handle located within the interior or use your Ford app or use the touch screen because you won't find a button located on your key fob. And if you happen to lock yourself inside, there's a self-opening release button inside similar to the Hummer EV I just reviewed. And you don't have to worry about drowning in your Mach E front trunk because there's a drain hole. As for the rear cargo area, well, first, towing capacity. Towing capacity has increased in 2022 and will carry over into 2023. That aside, you have a towing capacity of 2,205 pounds and a payload capacity of 956 pounds. Payload capacity represents how much weight you could store inside or on top. Before you go putting anything on top, make sure you speak to your Ford representative because you have a huge panoramic sunroof. Now, this lift gate is power to unlock. You could use your key fob, you could use the Sync 4 screen, or the traditional way of just using the button located where I just used it. And like I said, cargo capacity is really impressive. If you require more space, well, the seats fold in a 60-40 split. You have some convenience lights back here, a 12-volt port, and 2 hooks. Remember, this is the California Route 1, and this has the 12-volt port. And this is what I really like. I like smart thinking, especially if you're an active family like mine, because your floor trunk is actually lined with rubber. And this is great because if you're active and you store a lot of items and they tend to be dirty, this is easier to clean. And underneath your floor trunk, you'll find some additional storage space and your tire mobility kit. You already heard me mention the large panoramic sunroof, and it is one of the most impressive features about the Mach E, but probably what's even more impressive is how well Ford does the tint. Okay, it's a really sunny day, hence why I had to wear my sunglasses, and it does a great job limiting how much sun and glare is coming through. So that's amazing. One of the not so impressive features though is getting in and out. So if you're a taller individual, well then be careful, because the curvature of this large panoramic sunroof is so well done that the window is also curved. So getting in and out, you're gonna smash your head. I've done it a few times, and I'm only 5'3" if you're familiar with my channel, but you also have good head space once you're inside. And as one of my viewers, Al, would say, that my hair bun or ponytail adds a couple inches as well. So as you can see, it's really, really impressive. So all that aside, storage is really good throughout your Mach E. So first, the front, your front side pockets are really long, but I also love how beneath your dash you have a huge pocket, and what I really, really like is where you can store your mobile charger. You also have additional storage space behind it, or sorry, I should say beside it and in front of it. It's well done. And back here, you'll find your typical front seat pockets behind and on the side. It's again, just like the front, very long. And then when nobody's sitting in the middle, you can take advantage of your two traditional cup or bottle holders here. Connectivity, whether you're sitting up front or back here, is good. You have a USB and USB-C port. If you're looking for additional connectivity, well, you'll find it inside your front center console. If you prefer a simplistic and decluttered front passenger area, then you'll really appreciate your Mach E, because Ford has just kept it clean, and I love that. And one of the main features I have truly enjoyed using this week is this Sync 4 touchscreen. It's so easy, but I'll get back to that in a second. First, these seats throughout are the Active X seats that you'll find in the California Route 1. These are a high-end synthetic seat. They're supposed to be more durable and easier to clean. The front passenger seat is manual operated. The driver's side is power and offers memory support as well. Again, remember, California Route 1. The seats are heated and your steering wheel is heated. Use the bottom portion of your Sync 4 touchscreen to control all of your climate settings. So easy to use. Back to the steering wheel though, because I love how Ford has included the Mustang badge right front and center, always staring at you. But on the left hand side, this is gonna be where you find your cruise control settings and how you activate your Blue Cruise, and that essentially is your hands-free driving. If you don't like all the driver assisted tech, just go through your Sync 4 and activate it or deactivate. Then on the right hand side, this is where you're going to find your voice commands and your Bluetooth and your buttons for your audio sound system, which is fairly decent in here. I was actually impressed. But back to this Sync 4, because this is what it's all about. So first, navigation updated for 2022 will carry forward into 2023. Also offers Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. Another update made for 2022 as well, as you can do multiple screens when you actually plug in your Apple device or your Android device as well. But also what I appreciate is all the games that you can use. So if you're charging your Mach E and you're bored, well then you could actually use Wi-Fi or play the games. You cannot play the games while the vehicle is in motion. And to go to your home screen, just use the multi-button located at the top and you'll go back to your home screen. But if you want to set up your Mach E, just use the icon located in the top left portion. Give that a push and go through there. And that's where you can set up your driving modes. You can look at your camera angles. And remember, with the 360 Copilot 2.0 active prep package, you also have that 360-degree camera angle, and that is also so impressive, and the resolution. Also, I mentioned before, you can open up your frunk or your trunk using your touch screen. Again, just use the icon labeled access. It's really easy to use. You even have parking assist, so if you need help finding parking. But what I like the most is probably how easy it is to find charging stations. I've already mentioned that you have mobile charging, again, in the California Route 1. I also believe this is standard across the board, this feature, but I will double check that. Always look down in the description. I provide you with so much information. But my other favorite feature this week has been driving the Mach E. So to put it into gear, you have to use the dial knob, stick into drive, make sure it is turned on because it is quite quiet, but it will say that it's ready on top of your digital driver cluster. That said, now let's hit the road so I can provide you with my final driving impressions from this past week. So it really doesn't matter if you're in Whisper or Engage or Unbridled. It offers some really good performance and even instant torque, right? That's what EVs are known for. But what I like a lot is this isn't the quietest EV I've ever been in. And I don't mind that because you could actually hear the vehicle, right? And if you want to make it louder or quieter, you can play with your propulsion settings as well. So that's nice. And one of the best features Ford does in here is through this Sync 4, and you can watch your this trip navigation, and it shows how you're doing with your driving, whether you're using too much energy with your acceleration or deacceleration, even with your climate control. They do a great job with that. But when you go out for your test drive, really have a closer look and feel of that braking regen, because when you activate your one pedal driving, it it does what it's supposed to do. It comes to a complete stop. But when you choose to use your brake pedal in combination with your one pedal driving, I find that right at the last second it becomes really aggressive, right? So you're pushing the brake and it's like, ugh, comes to a stop. So you have to get used to that. But remember, I always recommend test drives because they're complimentary within my videos, and that's one feature I would definitely test out. Then visibility. Although you are provided that third window out the side, you can't really see anything out of it, so make sure you have your mirror set up and you're activating your blind spot monitoring. You're always paying attention to what's around you, of course. I've already said it's not the most quietest EV, but that said, it's not bad. But where Ford really stands out is with this panoramic sunroof. Like, it's huge, right? And they do a great job with their tint. But more on that driving in this Blue Cruise. You're gonna want this feature. I never timed it. Like, I don't know if it was 3 minutes, 4 minutes, 5 minutes, longer than that, but you can go absolutely hands-free, and it does a really good job. The only time that I find that it moved around a little bit more is when I was in heavy traffic. You can feel it moving. Just a little. This is me being picky, but it is really good, right? It takes a second to get used to when you're driving hands-free, right? You're giving up that control, but I can see myself using Blue Cruise for hours. And again, my friend Nathan Brown at Thor Motors suggested that in the future, once you're activating Blue Cruise and you want to switch lanes and you use your turning signal, it will eventually move over for you as well. But guys, like I said, I always recommend test drives because they're complimentary. Look down in the description. I provide you with so much information down there. I try to make it easier for you. And while you're looking down there, make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss Feature Car Friday or How To Tuesday. Thanks for watching, guys.